What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Wayne, the Thrift Nerd. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe in these crazy times. In this video, I am going to teach you how to properly identify a vintage t-shirt. You know, vintage t-shirts are all the rave. Some of them go for really big money, but you have to know how to identify if it's vintage or not. You don't want to be listing anything as vintage that's not vintage. That can get you in trouble on eBay or with your buyer. And you want to be able to very quickly kind of pick these things out when you're outsourcing. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Wayne. I'm an online reseller. I sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Amazon FBA, and other sites. I buy things from, thrift stores and garage sales and flip them to make a profit. If you are enjoying the content and you would like to see more of my videos, I'll link some of my more popular videos up here, and you can click down here to subscribe to my channel. So consider doing that, you guys. I'll love you forever. All right, so here's a shirt that I am going to feature in this video. Very cool Philadelphia Phillies 1994 vintage shirt. I bought a whole collection of vintage shirts, and not all of them were vintage, okay? So I had to go through each one and decide what was good, what wasn't, and that's what I'm gonna teach you how to do right now. So the very first thing you wanna look for, and this is the most obvious thing, is if there's an actual date stamp on the shirt. This one does have it. It's a little hard to see. I'll see if we can zoom in here. But if you look right there, it actually says 1994 on the shirt. A lot of the old vintage shirts, especially the sports shirts, the Harley Davidson shirts, and some of the old graphic tees will show you the date right on the bottom. And also, if it's like a band shirt, a concert shirt, usually you can tell by the tour dates on the back. So that's the easiest way to identify them. The second thing I would say is the tag for the shirt itself. As you sell more vintage shirts, you'll become more familiar with which tags are vintage and which aren't. Some of them you can just obviously tell because it just looks old-timey and it's a really stiff kind of like printed looking tag. But this is what this tag looks like. It's a Hanes heavyweight tag. You'll see Hanes, you'll see Gildan, you'll see Screen Stars, a bunch of other ones, you guys. If you're not sure and there's no date on the shirt and you're just going off of the tag, just do a Google search of that tag. Often you can find that a certain tag was produced at a certain time. And then again, once you kind of get familiar and you start buying more and more of these things, you'll familiarize yourself with the tags that actually are vintage, and you'll be able to spot them a mile away. The next way that I want to help you guys identify vintage shirts is by the stitching. So you often hear the term single stitched. What does that mean? That means that the stitching around the end of the sleeves only has one line of stitching, okay? Likewise, if it has two lines, it would be considered a double stitch. And you'll see the same stitching pattern around the bottom of the shirt. This is a single stitch shirt, I believe, yes. So I'll show you. This is what a single stitch looks like on the sleeve. You can see that there. And again, on the bottom of the shirt, around the hem, same deal. So that is a single stitch. A lot of vintage t-shirts, I would say the vast majority are single stitch, but one thing to remember is not all of them are. Just because it has two lines of stitching doesn't mean it's not vintage, okay? Sometimes you gotta dive deep into these things to figure it out. The next thing is the feel of the shirt, right? A lot of the vintage shirts have been really worn and they've been washed a bunch of times, but you can usually just tell that it doesn't have that starchy cotton feel to it. A lot of vintage shirts are soft because they've just been worn over time. So that's another way that you can kind of differentiate if it's vintage or not. Like if there's no tag, it's not single stitched, you just kind of give it a feel, see if it feels soft, worn, and if the graphics kind of have like cracking in them. In this case, the graphics are in good condition, but even there, you can see that there is some wear. So I guess the feel and also the wear of the graphics would be another way to determine if your shirt is a vintage shirt or not. The last little tidbit I'm going to give you, if you're not sure if a shirt is vintage, and really you should be doing this for all your items anyways, you want to look it up on eBay or Etsy or whatever site you prefer to use. See if you can find sold comps of that same item. If you can see that other people have sold it and it has popped up as vintage for a number of other listings, then you're pretty much made in the shade. I look up all of my vintage shirts because you never know, like, if a specific design is just really, really popular compared to a different design. So you should be doing that anyways. But yeah, eBay is a great tool. There are even sites you can use online to authenticate your items, or you can go to a consignment store and have the people there actually look at it if it's like a high value item, like some Nirvana shirt or something, and you want to make sure it's legitimate. That kind of stuff, you need to dive deeper into it. But there you go, you guys, the real quick video. Hopefully you guys found something in here helpful. Again, easiest ways to identify a vintage shirt are the date on the shirt, the tag, look up that tag. Some of them, like the ones I showed you earlier, are obviously vintage. And then the stitching on the sleeves and the bottom of the shirt, the feel of the shirt, also the wear on the graphics of the shirt. And lastly, if you don't know, look it up. Okay, research is key, you guys. Thank you again so much for stopping by to check out my video. I post new videos every Sunday, so please subscribe to the channel and check out all the new videos that I am dropping for you guys. I would love to keep this thing going, and subscribing or liking the video really helps the channel to grow so I can continue to bring you guys more content. All right, your boy Wayne, the Thrift Nerd, signing out.